Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome to everybody. My name is Susan Marinov-Zausner, and I'm the president here at the Intrepid Museum. And on behalf of Ken Fisher from our Board of Trustees, our co-chairman, and myself, we welcome you to the commemoration of the attack on Pearl Harbor, which is unbelievably 84 years ago today. At this time, if you are able, if you will please rise for the playing of our national anthem. You may be seated. This is such an important day for the Intrepid Museum, and it's one that has always been poignant and bittersweet, but it's now increasingly so with the passage of time. For years, we've been honored by the participation of survivors from that fateful day, individuals who had become part of the fabric of the museum and our dear friends. And we all look forward to seeing them, regaling us with their memories, so crystal clear of bravery and heroism, while also making sure we always remembered the unspeakable tragedy they witnessed firsthand. Sadly, and of course through the passage of time, we've lost the survivors who we've honored through the years: William Adams, Joseph Maduri, Dan Fruchter, Aaron Chabin, Clark Simmons, Mardo Chick-Galela, and Reverend James Blakely. All of us were lucky to have known them, each remarkable for their service and sacrifice and for the lives that they've led. And while they're no longer physically with us, they will always live on in our hearts and our minds. And it is important that we carry on this tradition, continue to pay tribute, and do our part to perpetuate their legacy. We feel it's such a privilege that you as families want to continue to be here at Intrepid, and we will do this ceremony for as long as you want to be here. We are grateful to have with us members of the Adams, Chabin, Galela, Simmons, and Ward Laduri families, and honored that Marie Ward, Michael Galela, and Muriel Adams will say a few words as part of the program, and we truly look forward to that. We are privileged to be joined by Brigadier General John D. Rhodes, Deputy Commanding General, U.S. Army Reserve's 99th Readiness Division. Thank you, General Rhodes, for being part of our ceremony. We appreciate your being here. And as I always do, I'd like to recognize the Intrepid former crew members that are here with us today. If you will also stand, if you are able, so we can recognize you, your service from then, and your continued service today. And I'd like to have a special recognition for a World War II U.S. Navy veteran and museum volunteer, Arthur Grabener, who happens to be turning 100 on December 11th, this Thursday. Thank you for your service. And thank you for representing here with us today also our greatest generation. It's my pleasure to introduce an individual who wears many hats and wears them well. He serves as chairman of Fisher House Foundation, an organization best known for a network of comfort homes where military and veterans families can stay at no cost while a loved one is receiving medical treatment. Fisher House now has 100 locations, serving more than 534,000 families, saving veterans and their families $650 million in lodging and travel expenses to date. And I don't see him stopping anytime soon. His family salvaged Intrepid from the scrapyard, gave it to New York City, and he is personally responsible for game-changing support for our service members and their families, the co-managing partner of Fisher Brothers, but more proudly for me, the co-chairman of the Intrepid Museum, Mr. Ken Fisher.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Good morning to everyone. I'd also like to extend my sincere appreciation to General Rhodes for joining us today. Thank you, sir. I want to thank our Intrepid former crew members and members of the Adams, the Chabin, Gallela, Simmons, and Ward Maduri families. My sincere gratitude to all of you for being here on this important remembrance. December 7th marks a pivotal day in this nation's history. The surprise attack that cost 2,400 Americans their lives and would ultimately claim more than 400,000 of our nation's men and women in uniform. While Pearl Harbor forever changed the lives of so many, it also galvanized the American people into a nation wholeheartedly committed to victory. The attack severely damaged our Pacific Fleet, but did not destroy our resolve, and in fact, it strengthened it, ultimately launching this nation into a superpower. The aftermath of the tragedy and the devastation at Pearl Harbor is the story of unprecedented determination and ingenuity. Despite the shocking human toll and the great military impact, the recovery effort and the massive mobilization began almost immediately. Within just 2 years, and much of it sooner, the vast majority of the ships that were sunk or damaged that day were salvaged, repaired, and refloated. Truly an engineering marvel, returning to the battle and helping to defeat the Axis powers. The American economy immediately shifted to war production. In industry after industry, astonishing feats of manufacturing were accomplished. By 1944, our nation was producing more than 100,000 aircraft and tens of thousands of different kinds of naval vessels annually, including aircraft carriers. Within 3 years, the U.S. Navy had surpassed the combined strength of all other navies in the conflict. Now, the ship we stand on today played an important part in that fight. The keel of Intrepid was laid just 1 week prior to Pearl Harbor, and the attack expedited its construction. The ship was commissioned in August of 1943 and went on to serve in some of the most pivotal battles in the Pacific theater. It's therefore fitting that we recognize this day aboard this great ship. Like Pearl Harbor, Intrepid is sacred ground. More than 250 of its sailors and airmen were lost on this ship or in the skies above her. And our nation forever honors those who gave their lives in its defense, and we realize the freedom that we enjoy comes at a steep price. Remembering those lost on this date in 1941 and the 4 years of brutal fighting that followed is our responsibility as Americans, truly a national duty. Intrepid will forever be a symbol of heroism, of men like Aaron and Chick, Clark, Daniel, James, Joseph, and William, and like our Intrepid crew members, all those who answered and continue to answer the call to defend this nation and to defend freedom throughout the world. We pledge to forever remember and honor their heroism. It is now my sincere privilege to introduce a true patriot. In his distinguished career, he served multiple overseas tours in support of Operations Enduring Freedom, Spartan Shield, Inherent Resolve, and the Republic of Korea. His awards and decoration include the Bronze Star, 6 Meritorious Service Medals, 3 Army Commendation Medals, and Army Achievement Medals. So please join me in welcoming the Deputy Commander of the United States Army's 99th Readiness Division, whose mission is to provide programs and services that enhance the readiness for mobilization and deployment of the Army Reserve Forces, Brigadier General John D. Rhodes. General, thank you.
Thank you for that kind introduction. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the opportunity to commemorate the attack on Pearl Harbor, a key event in our nation's history. I would also like to thank the Intrepid Museum for inviting me here today, for their strong commitment to our veterans, especially through their Fallen Heroes Fund, which this date has provided more than $200 million in donations to the families of killed and severely injured veterans. 84 years ago today, a date which will live in infamy, U.S. military forces stationed at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, came under attack by the Imperial Japanese Navy. More than 2,400 American service members were killed and nearly 1,300 were wounded. 188 military aircraft and nine naval vessels were destroyed. An additional 159 aircraft and 21 ships damaged. The United States battleship Arizona, which exploded after a forward magazine was hit by the enemy, accounted for nearly half of all the Americans lost at Pearl Harbor. That fateful day thrust our country into World War II, and 11 million American citizens put their lives on hold to protect our freedom and our way of life. To the families of those heroes who fought and bled that day, thank you on behalf of a grateful nation. We are forever in your debt. It is due to your courage, your fortitude, and vigilance that we continue to enjoy the blessings of liberty today. Thank you. Thank you. 3 aircraft carriers were out at sea during the time of the Pearl Harbor attack, and these 3 aircraft carriers eventually turned the tide of the Pacific Theater in the Battle of Midway. And today we are gathered inside the hallowed halls of another great World War II aircraft carrier, the USS Intrepid, one of the toughest ships ever built. Commissioned in August 1943, the USS Intrepid earned 5 battle stars in 7 major Pacific campaigns and battles. The USS Intrepid sank dozens of war and merchant ships. It helped sink both the Japanese super battleships, the Yamato and the Musashi, and destroyed over 270 Japanese aircraft. The USS Intrepid has survived 4 separate major attacks with both torpedoes and kamikaze aircraft. The Japanese repeatedly declared her sunk, even when she wasn't, earning her the nickname of Ghost Ship. And the Intrepid went on to serve in the Vietnam War, the Cold War, and even recovered the Apollo astronauts. Thank you to the sailors who served on the USS Intrepid. Please stand if you are able, and let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. The selfless, resilient spirit of the USS Intrepid lives in all our veterans and our service members. The United States now has its largest population of veterans since the Vietnam War. Currently 18 million, representing 7% of the adult American population. Their service spans from World War II to the latest conflicts of interest in the Middle East. Veterans throughout our nation's history have earned our undying gratitude, and we will never forget their sacrifices. If you are a veteran, I want to personally say thank you for your commitment to protect and serve our nation. Your commitment and sacrifice are shining examples of our service members today. Your legacy of proud and honorable service lives on within the brave men and women who continually to voluntarily serve. Thank you. Right now, thousands of service members are deployed around the world. Our sailors, our soldiers, our Marines, our airmen, our Coast Guardsmen, our Space Guardians are all following in our veterans' footsteps. Upholding the legacy of our past warriors who dedicated themselves to preserving the life of freedom for their families, friends, community, and country. Our veterans' sacrifices can never be repaid, their valor never questioned, and their service never forgotten. Thank you again for allowing me the opportunity to participate in this event. Our armed forces cannot be successful without the support of our nation's citizens. Thank you for all of you done for our military, and I ask for your continued support as you have done so effectively in the past. Only with your support can our armed forces remain ready to fight and win our nation's wars. Twice the citizen, combat ready. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words. We really are grateful to you for your service and for being here today. Joseph Midori of Pelham Bay in the Bronx was an Army private in Hawaii when the bombs fell on Pearl Harbor. "I have a picture in my mind that will never leave me," he said. It shook the mess tent Midori was in violently. Moments later, the battleship Arizona was hit by a 1,000-pound bomb. "This one sounded like an earthquake," he described. Following the war, he would go on to become a postal worker, and he was dedicated to keeping the memory of Pearl Harbor alive as president of the local chapter of the Pearl Harbor Survivors Association. To speak about her father, please welcome Marie Ward.
Hi. I'm nervous, so bear with me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Marie Midori Ward, and I'm honored to be on the Intrepid today. I'm grateful for the chance to speak about my father, Joe Midori. During the Great Depression, like so many young men searching for opportunity, my father joined the military in 1940 at the age of 23. He was stationed in Hawaii, serving as a searchlight operator at Fort Kamehameha, the harbor defenses. On the morning of December 7th, 1941, while having breakfast with his fellow soldiers, he learned of the attack on Pearl Harbor and Hickam Field. The shock and trauma of witnessing the bombing firsthand stayed with him for the rest of his life. But my father's memories of Hawaii weren't only shaped by war. He often spoke fondly of playing baseball on the post team, meeting athletes like Phil Rizzuto and his hero Joe DiMaggio. He loved sharing stories about simple pleasures like discovering cactus pears in the hills, introducing their sweetness to his friends. He was deeply committed to the Pearl Harbor Survivors Association, whose motto was to keep America alert. As a past president of the Statue of Liberty chapter in New York City, he returned to Hawaii many times to honor the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. Standing alongside fellow survivors, their dedication to remembering the sacrifices made for our country never faded. My father's journey from New York City to the beaches of Hawaii was remarkable, but his favorite place was always at home with his family. His faith and love for his country was unwavering. As my son Richard once said, his favorite place was his chair in the living room, cheering on his New York Yankees. He loved his family, and above all, his faith in God and love for his country was unyielding. Today, we honor all those who witnessed and survived the events of December 7th, 1941, and those who gave everything to protect our freedom. Let us express our deepest gratitude to all veterans. Their courage, sacrifice, and commitment continue to inspire us and safeguard the values we cherish as a nation. We remember their legacy with profound respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. That was really beautiful. Armando Chick-Galela served in the United States Army for 5 years in the Pacific Theater and was stationed at Hickam Field with the 443rd Construction Signal Corps in Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked. Having survived Pearl Harbor, he then went on to Tinian and later participated in the Battle of Okinawa. He received several awards for his bravery and service and was honored with the Bronze Star for his courage during the Battle of Okinawa. And to talk about his father's life and legacy, it's my privilege to introduce Michael Galela. Soon to be a grandfather.
Thank you to the organizers from the Intrepid for once again remembering this day 84 years ago. I would like to place my dad's Pearl Harbor survivor's cap on the pedestal. Of the 1,177 men killed on the Arizona, many perished instantly from the initial explosion and subsequent fires. Others died from drowning, smoke inhalation, or burns as the ship sank. More than 900 were trapped in the Arizona because the extensive damage from the explosions made their recovery too dangerous and difficult and remains a memorial. Another 1,226 were also killed in the attack. My dad, Armando Chick-Galela, would always look forward to attending this ceremony, telling his stories to remind everyone of this day that has lived in infamy. At times he would get emotional, remembering it like it was yesterday. I believe he was so thankful to survive the attack and to get to come home after surviving 5 years in the Pacific when so many others did not. It was his obligation to speak for them. He would be called a hero, but he would say, "I'm not a hero. The ones with white crosses are the heroes." Now that our dads are no longer with us, it is our obligation of myself and the other Pearl Harbor survivor families in attendance to speak for them and future the legacy of those who fought and died as a result of the attack on Pearl Harbor. My father's story is similar to so many other men and women at the time in America. It was 1939 and my dad was 18 years old. He just graduated high school. There were no jobs because of the Depression, so himself and a few friends decided to go enlist. They went to Whitehall Street in New York City. At first, my dad did not pass his physical because he didn't weigh enough. After being told to eat bananas and water, he got in at 110 pounds. He started off at Fort Slocum in New Rochelle and was shipped out to the USS Hunter Liggett from Brooklyn Army Base, passed through the Panama Canal to Fort McDowell, California, and then on to Hawaii. He remembers having to chip the paint off the ship in order to be occupied. How much fun. He was assigned to the 53rd Signal Corps at Hickam Air Force Base. Hawaii was beautiful. His unit worked on establishing the communications at Hickam Field, Wheeler Field, and Kauai. They were trained well. If there was trouble, their job was to protect the equipment that would reestablish vital communications. Friendships and simple pleasures were all about our servicemen could afford on $17 a month. Take trips into town with friends and spend Sunday morning reading the paper after breakfast. On Saturday, December 6th, my dad passed his barracks inspection and got a pass to go downtown the next day. He got up early to enjoy breakfast and get to Honolulu to enjoy the day. Those plans were changed drastically. The change came sharp, loud, and violent. He remembers the intense bombings and sounds of gunfire from the Zeros. Columns of black smoke and the Zeros roaring overhead. Insignias visible on the planes. They went to the ammunition depot where all the guns were locked up, and at first, they were denied the weapons because no orders were given. All personnel ran to their assigned duties. My dad's battalion was told to move all the trucks and equipment and head toward a dormant volcano, waiting for an invasion. Also became the headquarters for the 7th Air Force. The only invasion were wild pigs, he would say. They ended up shot, thinking movements were from intruders. The men were scared. He learned later on that his high school friend, John Horan from high school, got killed trying to protect the planes. His company grew to a battalion, and my dad had his high school diploma. Promotions came fast, and within a year and a half, he became a battalion sergeant major. His unit crossed the Pacific with assignments in Peleliu, Tinian, Saipan, and landed in Okinawa D+3. It was a grim place of hate, death, and hasty burials. Okinawa was the bloodiest battle in the Pacific. 50,000 troops were killed. On the way to Okinawa, they were circling for over a week, waiting for battleships to bomb the island before the invasion. My dad went to his colonel to tell him his men were getting seasick and didn't want to die on this ship from torpedoes. He said, let's get off this ship. Eventually, the islands were secured. My dad found out that he had enough points to go home, and he approached his colonel. The colonel told him, Galella, the war's not over. And my dad said, it's over for me, I'm going home. His dad passed away when very young. His mom met him at the train station when he got home. His mom passed away 3 months later as if she was waiting for her 3 boys to get home. He lived his life in the hometown of North Tarrytown at the time. He was blessed to live 100 years old when so many others never got to live theirs. Let us never forget Pearl Harbor and the servicemen that died today. My dad would say, freedom is not free, and that December 7th should never be forgotten. God bless America, and thank you.
You have to continue to pass on the legacy to what will be your new grandchild soon. So congratulations to you on that as well. I'll clap for that. Now, William Adams enlisted in the U.S. Army 4 years before Pearl Harbor. After December 7th, he continued to serve through the end of World War II. As staff sergeant at the Schofield Barracks in Oahu, he trained soldiers on the howitzer. Schofield Barracks was attacked by Japanese planes on that fateful day, and for his service, he received various medals, including a posthumous Congressional Medal here on Intrepid soon after he passed away in 1991. His wife, Leona Hermel Adams, frequently attended this ceremony. William had 2 daughters, Fran and Muriel, and it is my pleasure to introduce Muriel Adams to share some words about her father.
And is this the right height for me? Yes. Morning on Oahu Island, Hawaii. Surrounded by peaceful blue waters, sandy shores, mountains under soft white clouds, happy sunny skies, fragrant orchids, moist, still air. Taste it. Touch it. Quiet, quiet. 7:55 a.m. Clear sky rains bombs, angry, deathly darkness, harbor ablaze, burning fuel, burning bodies. Smell the smoke. Roaring, roaring, roaring. 75 minutes, hell on earth. First Sunday, December 1941. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for that, Muriel, and for all family members that are here. I'm going to say it one more time, and I said it in the earlier part of our ceremony, but this means so much to Intrepid, and for as long as you want to be here, we will be doing this with you and for your husbands, your fathers, your brothers, all who served in that greatest generation. So thank you for being here today. So in the tradition proceeding outside, we're going to lay a wreath. And I'd like to invite General Rhodes, Ken Fisher, Muriel, Marie, Michael, and all your families, along with the Chabin and Simmons families, join us outside. It will be the conclusion of our ceremony. You'll hear Amazing Grace right now as we proceed outside, and of course, after the wreath is laid, you will hear taps. Thank you again so much for being here on this very special and important day to us.